Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I got a nice little budget build I'm going to do. A little less of a flip, but I got everything for cheap, so I'm going to count it. But let's just get straight into it. Alright, starting things off, I have been pooling up my profit for a decent amount of time now so that I can just make one big purchase all at once. So I decided to go on Amazon, pick up some RAM, some CPU coolers, some power supplies, and some SSDs, as well as going on eBay and purchasing a few lots of parts on there. I then went and bought, I think, a couple broken computers as a whole lot again, so that I can just make a bunch of computers instead of doing one at a time once a week. So you should expect just a bit more consistency for my videos for the people who enjoy watching them. So yeah, that pretty much sums up the beginning of what I'm going to start doing. I also want to, test a new case every single video instead of doing the same case every single time. So my pick for this video was a dark flash micro ATX case off of Amazon. This case only ran me $59, but as of posting this, the case is now at $68, which is a crazy jump in price. Honestly, I really like the quality and the look of the case. One thing I do not like is the PCIe slots are all one-time takeoff, and they don't include a single one to cover stuff up. So later in the video, I do have to cover it up with one from a black case because I ran out of white ones. But other than that, I really do like the case. So for the motherboard, this is another one of those free motherboards I got. It was the ASRock A520M Pro 4. It was one of those free motherboards I got in that bundle of 3 someone gave me. And going for the CPU, I got this for $60 on Facebook Marketplace, the Ryzen 5 3600. It's not too bad of a CPU, and it'll still get the job done in most modern games on medium. There's the motherboard again. And now for some RAM, I chose some white sticks of RAM to match the aesthetic of the build. I usually do RGB, but this time I didn't do it. But it is 16 gigabytes, 3200 megahertz OLED Warhawk, so it's still not that bad. Kicking things off with the build, we first start off by installing our 2 sticks of RAM. Some people do the CPU first, I just have a weird order of things. I'm lining up the CPU with the gold arrow in the top left corner. And now we have the ID Cooling SC214XT, which I normally use, and it's in its white style. Last video I got one in black and spray painted it, so I just decided to go and get white ones. These are relatively cheap coolers, only 17 bucks on Amazon, and it gets easier the more you install them. I think this is like the 25th time I've installed one of these coolers. It's just all around my favorite cooler to use for PC flipping. And some of my favorite thermal pastes are the Noctua or the Arctix MX4 thermal pastes. I have to make sure to take the sticker off because there was this one build I made about a year ago where I did 3 of them and forgot to take all the stickers off somehow. I don't know how that got past me, but actually I think it was like 2 years ago. I don't know. Sorry for yapping. But here's the finished board, and I don't think it looks that bad. Now we're installing the SSD. This is actually from one of those computers I picked up on Marketplace for next video. It was 1 terabyte, so I decided to use that instead of the 512 gigabyte SSD I bought. Just decided sell it with more storage because I'm never going to use the 1 terabyte, and I don't want to put it in too low quality of a PC. But now I'm just going to start lowering everything into the case. With these videos, I'm going to go off topic in relation to the build. Sorry if this bothers some of you guys, but would you like to see clips of me selling the computers and see clips of me meeting up for parts or buying parts or just like deeper into the troubleshooting process? Because I feel like some people find it interesting, but I don't know if some people wouldn't. This is my favorite part right here, the GTX 1070 graphics card I bought. Now, the guy initially had this listed for $80 on Facebook Marketplace, but I ended up getting it for $60 because I pretty much told him what I did after he asked, and he gave me $20 back and just told me to keep doing what I did. So I'm very grateful to him for that. Now, this is around that part where I have to put in that PCIe slot that bothers me because it doesn't match. But honestly, it doesn't look too bad because the build is starting to look white and black. Right here I'm unboxing that $14 Wi-Fi card I got off of eBay. I do need to buy more because I am very low on Wi-Fi cards now. This is my second to last one, and then the $37 500 watt power supply. I trust them a little better than the ep.8 ones I was using last video. Alright, we got a couple cables to manage. It's not perfect, but I don't know, I think it's one of my better ones. Now I can just start installing all the stuff for the PCIe slots to finally finish this build. Don't mind my whistling in the background. I tend to whistle a lot and it does ruin some raw audio clips. And now all I'm doing is just screwing in the graphics card, plugging it up, and just doing some final touches so that I can boot this up and see if it works. I'm gonna stop talking until it's time for me to talk again, so until then, Eric out. I should probably tell you guys that that loud noise in the background is the heater, as it's right next to the room I build PCs in. And then right here I usually cover up the USB-C port with vinyl on most of the PCs I build, so that people don't tell me that there's a broken port on it. Right here I just need to go into the BIOS and make sure that the RAM frequency is alright and that TPM, there's no issues with this, so that I can install Windows 11 and just be able to use the computer. So I just had to fix a few settings with the motherboard security, and we're able to install Windows 11 now. So I'm just gonna wait for this to install, and I'll come back after I get a bunch of other stuff set up. Back in for an update. We are currently downloading the NVIDIA drivers for the GTX 1070. I was able to turn all the lights white inside of the BIOS, so there's no need to change any of that right now. And also I downloaded Epic Games Launcher, and I'm going to install Fortnite after this downloads, but so far it's a pretty nice looking computer and it runs pretty well, so I'm gonna run some benchmarks and I'll come back in later. So I tested the Fortnite on a 75 Hz monitor at medium settings and it kept that 75 frames the entire time, so I think the computer's ready to sell. I then test with Furmark and User Benchmark. I've never really heard a YouTuber talk about User Benchmark, but they are a pretty good website and I use them to compare performance to decide which parts I want to buy. I'm in no way endorsed by them, but I like what they do. So going on to the cost breakdown, you can pause if you like to just look over it, but the GPU costs $40, the CPU costs $60, the PSU or power supply cost $37, the cooler costed $17, the case costed $59, the RAM was $29, the SSD was $20, and the Wi-Fi card was $14, making the total cost $276. If you'd like to replicate this build, it would probably be somewhere around $350, and that's it for the cost breakdown. With that being done, I guess you can get a sneak peek onto what's going on right after I film this video. This is the stuff for next week. I've already filmed next week's at the time of this upload, but we received a few motherboards and a bunch of computer parts, and we're going to be trying to do something with that. And I don't have anything for the third week in a row, but I do have a few packages coming that I do want to unbox on camera, but I believe it's in a couple of days. I'll also further explain a few things next video. But with that, that's all. Peace out.